ain't got enough coffee yet. Guess it's time. I'll go ahead and get started. Are you ready, Mr. Poole? You going?
Going.
All right, I want to make sure you get all this. Basically, today I'm going to give you a little bit of updates on some projects. And of course, if y'all have questions, you're welcome to answer those questions. In case you haven't figured it out, I'm Mayor Alan Scott. I decided today was Hawaiian Shirt Day. I forgot to send out the memo, apparently. It's okay. I don't mind. I'm happy to be the odd man out. First thing, the Heart of Bryant project, it's pretty much complete. There are a couple of changes we're working through right now, design. We've sent it to RDOT and Metro Plan for their approvals, and we're seeing what we can do about getting a couple of changes on that, which is that's south of the bridge going across the railroad tracks, okay, on Reynolds Road.
Thank you.
The big project we have is Bryant Parkway. As you know, it's off that way a little bit. Comes from Highway 5, goes down to the interstate, and then we're constructing now from the interstate down to Shobe Road. Johns Wood Road is open now. They're about to start Shobe Road if they haven't started it already, correct?
They haven't started yet. They're going to do the water line first.
They're about to start that already. When they do that, it will require Shobe Road intersection to be closed for just a bit because they have to do some major undercuts for the road. Once they get all that done, that road will open that road up from the interstate all the way to Shobe Road as we're waiting for the next phase of that project, which is from Shobe Road down past the airport down to Hill Farm Road. That section, we're still waiting on the FAA to say yeah, give their approval. We're not anticipating any problem with that approval, but you know how the federal government is, they're real slow. And especially ever since that government shutdown, they're even slower, I swear. I don't know what's going on with it. But we're working through that process and we'll get there. So that's those two projects. Traffic lights. Hill Farm and Highway 5. We are just about to start that construction, I believe.
Yes, sir.
We've let that contract, have we not?
We're ready to go on it. RDOT is good with everything, and we actually got word Entergy was the holdup.
Right, and I think they're doing their fixes up on Monday, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we can start immediately.
So they're going to raise some poles, some lines up on Monday for us down there. Once they get that done, we'll start that project. And that should be in, as we said it would be, before school starts. Okay?
Yeah.
That'll make everybody on the south side of town happy. Now we've got to get the people on the north side of town happy at Highway 5 and Parkway. That intersection there, we're still in the design stage on that, if I remember right. And we're working through RDOT, through all that stuff, and once we get all that set up, we'll get that installed as well. Okay? Another little project that's construction with roads is at Hill Farm, Hilldale, and Parkway, that intersection by Parkway Elementary. That construction will start in November for that intersection improvement. And I'm going to say that word that some people don't like. It is a roundabout / traffic circle. It's a single lane one, and it's okay.
Make sure it's big enough to get your fire trucks through.
We are.
We'll be running into some problems with that in another municipality out there.
We are. JP's on the ball with that one. JP Jordan, the chief, is. So that's that intersection, what else we got here? That's got that one there. Sidewalks, we're putting in some sidewalks down by the junior high on 3rd Street and Elm Street to help with connectivity for the kids walking along Reynolds Road there so they can cut through, and we're doing some improvements on 3rd Street as well, improving the crossing for the students there so they can get on the campus easier and off. And so far we've not had any accidents with pedestrians, and I hope we keep it that way. Let's see, what else do I have here? There's a whole list, by the way. On the City of Bryant website, there's a page called Current Projects. Okay. Going down, of course, the fire stations have been done for a while, but what we've been able to do now is we're actually in process. I don't know if they've got the slab poured yet, but if they haven't, they're minutes away from it or days away from it. Down by fire station number 2, which is at Hill Farm. They are in the process of pouring a slab so they can construct a training facility. This company is coming in with what's called a Connex box which are basically big metal boxes, and they're building a training facility for the firemen there, which will be nice because they can do a lot of training there. Plus, other fire stations from around here can go there for training as well, and our guys can train them. Just makes us better. The more you train, the better you are with fire and police. Isn't that right, Chief Menden?
That's right.
So that's
Probably
good.
building
We're
an indoor
anticipating that.
firearms facility very soon.
Sir?
That's why you're gonna be building me an indoor firearms facility very soon.
Okay.
Pipe dream.
Pipe dream, you said? Well, it's hard to shoot down a pipe.
Actually, it's not.
Depends on how short the pipe is, right? Without hitting the walls is what I'm talking about. That fire station, that training facility should be done by this fall, coming up this fall. I meant to mention Wind Parkway from Interstate to Shove Road to be open as well. That'll be open this summer. It should be done by the time school opens. Some parks things happening. We started the remodel for Ashley Park. The demos of most of the infrastructure is done. We're waiting for a school in Northwest Arkansas to come get the poles and the lights that are there. They decided they want them, and we said, please come get them. Less for us to haul off and throw away, you know. So once that's done, we'll get the rest of that project going. We'll get the fields laid out. We'll get the new lights in, and that will be ready by fall, correct?
November.
November, well, that's fall.
Yes, sir.
It's not winter until December. I go by the real calendar. So well, that'll be done by then. The dog park over at Alcoa Park is part of this phase of park improvements too. That is in process right now. I think they've done some dirt work recently over there. And I think they either have or are about to put up the fence for the dog park. They'll have a big dog side and a little dog side. We're working on getting water for the dogs and the people that'll be there as well. And the dog park committee is looking at what special features need to go in there, like a fire hydrant or something, I guess. I'm not sure what all dogs like to use these days. Mine just uses grass. So. Bishop Center is pretty much good, I think.
Yes.
Phase 2 of Mills Park Playground, we're starting that process as well. There's a couple more features on that all-inclusive playground that was constructed previously. We're looking right now at getting some matching grant money so we can finish phase 2 of that. So there'll be more little features for kids everybody, kids and adults that can of all abilities to do that. Stormwater projects, there's a link to that, and honestly, if I went to that link, we'd probably be here for about 12 days because the Public Works Department comes to me just about daily and says, hey, we want to put this in, we want to look at this, we want to do this. One of the things we're working on right now is we're doing some engineering studies in a number of areas. There's some areas over off of Hill Farm or Hilldale Road that we're working on engineering. We're doing engineering down by Kerrywood and that neighborhood. And, we're doing some engineering over here off of Spring Hill Road, looking at stormwater and what we need to do to fix some of the problems we have. We are active in other projects as well. Over here, there's a drainage basin that they're in the process of clearing out right now. If we can keep the drainage basins and the drainages clear, it makes water flow better, and it just makes everything better that way. If you own your drainage area, if there's a creek that runs through your property, it's pretty much your property unless there's an easement, and it's your responsibility to clean it up, make sure it stays clear. So if it gets clogged up, that's your job. If you need assistance or have questions about it, feel free to call us at the city and we'll guide you through what you need to do. Any other street related projects, Mark?
Timber Creek.
Timber Creek, oh yeah, I forgot. Recently we had to close that road, Timber Creek, because there is a couple of big culverts. I think they're like 36, 48-inch culverts underneath.
Yeah.
That had collapsed, and the road was about to collapse. All it was going to take is another car or two, and somebody go up in there and get hurt, so we blocked it off. We're getting bids on that project, correct, right now?
It's ready, yeah.
It's ready? So we're about to start that project and get it fixed and done. We'll put box culvert back in there, is my understanding. So, 'cause that's better than a regular old corrugated culvert. Better flow and stuff. Anything else? Any other projects that I have missed or anything?
You got the big ones.
Okay. We're always continually finding stuff. If you see a problem, one thing I always say, go to the city website, www.cityofbryant.com. There's a little picture that's got a traffic cone in it. It says report a concern. Click it, pick where your concern is, and fill that information out, because it creates a ticket and sends it immediately to that department so they can start that process. It's the most efficient way to get things done. It's a lot more efficient than calling the mayor, I'm gonna be real. Because all I do is I go on there and I fill that form out, or I have to call the Public Works Department or the Parks Department or somebody, and they fill that form out, and then it gets processed that way. We all have to do it the same way. Sir?
I promise it's more effective.
Oh, absolutely it is. I mean, I even can get stuff done that way. Does anybody, I'll open it up, do anybody have any questions or anything? I will say again, there's watermelon here, and there's iced tea right over there, or there will be iced tea when you put it on ice. Feel free.
And water.
Sir, Mr. Pilkington.
The drainage project down here on Monticello
Yes, sir.
is complete, I would think.
The part going across that road right there, the clearing out that drainage behind that is part of that project as well, and that's in process. There's a drainage basin kind of up creek from where you are on the back side of those houses,
Right.
and they're clearing that out right now.
Goat farm, yeah.
Not the goat pond. That's across the street from you.
The next.
This is behind the house, behind your house and the houses. This is to the south of the houses there in that area.
Behind my house is Ron.
Huh?
Behind my house is Ron. That's his pasture.
But what I'm saying is there's a drainage in that. It's not necessarily exactly behind your house, but it's behind those houses on your side of the street. Just up on this side over here.
Oh,
There's a
here,
drainage.
upper basin.
There's a racing.
When you're taking the sediment out of?
Yeah, that's one we're clearing out. Because
But that's
it's
not
basically
really
filled
our
up.
problem.
Yeah, it is. So what's happening is that water cannot get to that basin because it's so full, and it's surcharging back out of the inlets into the street, and it's going right down the road down towards your
I
house.
agree,
Yeah.
but I've got video showing it's about that wide down there. But there's more coming across the street than coming down the road.
Yeah, it's gonna relieve that water from crossing. Okay? Now, let me ask you a question. This last big rain event, did you get water in your house?
Oh, no, didn't get
Okay.
over that.
Okay. So that was probably close to a 100-year event, and I hope we've had a lot of those in the past couple of years. So if it can withstand that and not get water in your house, that's a success.
Yeah. It's going to go across the street at times the way it's designed. That's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to call the police to block the road off every time it floods.
Well, the police will come out and check it and block the road off if they need to.
Well,
Absolutely.
we called the police.
And it's appreciated when you do that. If it's a big rain event, I try to get out and check myself. So.
All right, phase 6 of Stony Brook is off of Grant and between Grant and Pinnacle.
Yeah.
I've seen they cleared that out.
They've started clearing it. It's not totally cleared out yet. But
All right.
I was
Well,
up there
checked
looking
with-
at it yesterday.
I checked with Truett, he said the drainage pipes are gonna run down to the big basin
Okay.
across the street from my house. It can't hold what it's got now, so how are you gonna put more water in there and expect us to survive downstream?
So those basins aren't designed for every event that occurs, okay? So the map, there's an entire basin study done for this geographic area before we allowed that development to continue. We've had that thing on hold for almost a year. So they had to go in and survey all the land around here, redo all their math calculations, all the engineering calculations on it.
Yeah.
And it meets the requirements in our stormwater specs. So they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So are you gonna allow building to continue without getting the, large basin fixed first?
Well, I mean, that large
Or you
basin
saying
is
it's
actually
fixed?
privately owned.
Yeah.
The property owners around that large basin own that.
What's wrong with the basin now?
It doesn't hold the water.
Well, we're talking about, capacity thing, and like I said, we don't design these for, 100, 200, 300-year events, we design them.
But we still pay $140,000,
No, sir, we do not.
No.
so it's no better than it was.
I'm sure
It is better.
I mean, that's
Ask
just
the neighbors around there if it's any better than what it was.
It's helping keep the houses from flooding, and that was the goal of that.
the new houses that are being built.
Of course, that was let, and I'll also say this, remember, Mr. Pilking, that was let, and that was done prior administration as well.
That's what the last administration said. Now look at other people.
You know,
We can
all I can control is what I can do right now, honestly, not
So
what's
we're
going
gonna
on.
allow that phase six to go ahead and
We're,
put water into that.
as long as they meet the engineering requirements, yes, sir, I believe so.
But the engineers already said there's something not right. There's too much water in there.
Not the engineers that I've seen, but apparently I don't know the engineers that you're
Talk
talking
to
to.
Vernon. He said
I'll
that-
talk to him,
because he said
I've
he-
talked to Vernon at length about it.
I'll talk to him.
Okay, and as a matter of fact, the developer that's doing phase six,
Yeah.
he actually paid the city a per lot fee for us to use that money to contribute to that repair that we just did there. Okay, so he's paying his share, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and he's following the specs, so, there's not a lot left to do other than maintaining that basin, which the Mayor alluded to, is
Yeah.
privately owned basin.
Yeah, it's a privately owned
So are you
basin.
gonna just go in there and clean it out, or are you gonna have
Well,
to communicate with the owners? or what?
As you know, Mr. Pilking, and it's private property, the city can't, employees can't go in. But we're in the process of notifying people in a variety of different parts of the city that they need to, that is on their property, and they need to clean things out like that, and they need to maintain those.
Yeah.
And that's part of the process. Now, how those people that own that property are gonna do that, I don't know. That'll be up to each individual property owner, I suppose. Or they can get together as a group and figure out how to do it.
Is the basin on this end, is it privately owned as well?
That one I don't believe is it?
It's privately owned, but we deem that like an emergency, to be able to go in there and fix that. We could go in there and do it, or we could wait on the homeowners to do it, and the road keeps flooding.
Yeah.
We don't want that, we don't want part of people's house.
Right,
Yeah.
that's my number one
And that's the
goal.
big goal, is to keep it out of the
Here's my
house.
concern.
I mean, you're gonna flood no matter what.
Both these things done.
I understand.
I don't know if you and I have ever.
No, Ted works with me, and
Okay, I'd like to
he's
visit with you.
communicated with me every conversation y'all had.
Will y'all offer any assistance in helping clean up, because there's gonna be a lot of sediment coming down that creek before it ever gets cleared out.
We've got sediment control systems in place.
Is that the straw bale? Because I've dug them out of my culverts and out of my.
No, that was for that other part there, so.
I will
Still
say-
working on it.
I will also say this, and it's not an excuse at all, because nobody can control this. This past several months of this year has been a ridiculously wet year. I mean, we're about 30 inches over our normal rainfall for this year.
I agree.
And that's caused a lot of problems during that time. So, because it basically resulted in every event being basically a 100-year flood, because nothing could soak in,
Right.
or nothing slow down. And you cannot engineer for 100-year floods for everything, otherwise the cost for everything would be so prohibitive. All the taxes would have to go up, and I don't wanna even approach that.
Again,
But we will,
could we maybe get some assistance? in-
we can all meet up after this, we can set up a meeting, get with my office.
That's all I
We'll
ask.
get him and Ted, and we'll look and see what we can work out with something like that. Are there any other questions about anything else? Yes, ma'am.
The new development back there.
Yes, ma'am.
They're gonna build a holding pond.
My understanding, that's part of what we were just talking about.
It was.
There's some drainage that, I think they're gonna put drainage in that'll go to this basin that's already existing, is my understanding.
How are they gonna get it there?
Just like they do normal pipes and drainage, dig a hole and put it in and build things back.
I know that sounds naive, but I live over bordering that creek or that bed that goes along there. And there's a lot of that
You
there's just,
talking about the creek that's on this side, on the back side of the houses over here that goes right in the basin?
it's alongside Pinnacle.
Okay,
And in the cul-de-sac is where I am.
Okay.
And it just
yeah, 'cause
seems
it
like,
wraps around you over there.
and that's gonna affect us more than, well, it'll probably affect everybody downstream, but close to, we already have a lot of water. I'm at the bottom of the small downgrade of the, land, and so it goes from, I get everybody's everything, and it's in my backyard, and then I can't figure out getting it to that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, is it supposed to go underwater? Am I supposed to dig a ditch to that long trench back there, whatever you call it?
Actually, it's on your property, that ditch, that drainage, I think it's on your property, isn't it? Is it on Pinnacle or
House
no?
you live in.
I'm not sure either. We'd have to look at it, a plat map and stuff, but we can meet with y'all and see, and we can try to see what you need to do. You know.
Yeah, because, you know, when he starts
Just make sure
building,
make sure you put a star beside your name if you've signed in, and we will come visit with you sometime. If nothing else, me and Mark will, and try to figure out what so we can get a better eye. If we have a visual on it, it's easier for us to understand what's going on.
yeah, I mean, if it's my responsibility, you
Sure.
know, I need to know.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
figure out what I need to do, but I think my property as such goes back behind my fence a number of feet,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
it doesn't go all the way.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure
To that
exactly
ditch.
how far your property goes back over there.
Well, that was my understanding.
Well,
I don't know if I understand
Yeah,
it
well,
correctly.
we'll look into it. Like I say, make sure you put an asterisk by your name. I know where Mr. Pilkington lives. Miss Betty?
My grandson used to fish in that pond. There's a pond, a natural pond.
Yes, there's a pond up there.
Okay.
It's been there for a long time.
Okay, Michael said when it starts raining, that pond fills up real fast.
Yes, ma'am.
He thinks it's fed by a natural pond inside the.
By spring?
A spring
Yeah.
inside the pond.
There may be, because it doesn't evaporate very fast. I know that.
He said, when I fish up there, I have to get out fast because it rises fast.
Yeah.
And he said, I know there's a
Could
spring
be.
at the bottom.
I know that pond is that on the Alexander property?
Yeah, it's on the prison property.
The youth services
So,
property?
Yeah, and it actually serves as a detention area for stormwater until it peaks. And that's something we're actually looking at right now, is to determine, you know, has anything happened with that levee on that pond that's causing it to release more water more quickly. So, but there's, you know, up to Hilltop Road from there, I mean, it's not a long ways, and that's all that's feeding into that. So
Yeah.
it's amazing how much water goes through there.
Again,
It really is.
so these past rain events have been ridiculously fast and furious. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
All right, your drainage pipe that they blocked off would take the storm water from the street back behind my property. It stands still as long as it's not, you know, if it's raining, it's flowing. If it's not raining, it's a mosquito bed. Anything can be done there.
I don't know exactly what pipe you're talking about, honestly, Mr. Pilkins, and I haven't been down back
It
there to
runs
see
from the
it.
street to behind my property.
How do you know it's mosquito? You get in there and look when it's dry, and the ground was dry, to see if it's holding water
Walk back here now,
in the pipe.
in the pipe, not draining completely out.
Yeah. And the water's not flowing through there at all?
Well, it's dedicated for street water. So there's no water going down the street, no flow.
Yeah.
That's a sad design.
That's what?
Bad design.
Which part's of that design? The part about it not draining out?
Yeah,
That was done back in what, 2003, something like that?
Well, you think they'd take that into consideration when they've done the pipe, correct that?
Well, I'd have to go look and see. Nobody mentioned that to me before. I'll have to go look and see how much water, how much water is hurting. Yeah, he usually will tell me if he thinks something is wrong. So I haven't heard, but I'll definitely take a look at it.
All right.
Any other questions? I guess that's a no then. Don't forget, we got some tea here, we got some watermelon. It's good watermelon, I have some. And we'll have some more too. Do you have any questions back there? You're standing in the hot.
Question. I live here on Commonwealth Drive,
Yes, ma'am.
and I am really tired of seeing people speed down the road, blow stop signs, etc. The police will come, you know, once every few months, and I can watch them from my kitchen window from where they park, and they'll pull over 30 people in an hour. You could probably fund the whole city for the year on this road if you just stayed here every day. But there really needs to be, like, honestly, like a patrol like once a week or something until people get it through their heads. They should not be going 50 miles an hour down the road and blowing stop signs. Like,
Well,
because we've
Got
been
it.
doing a lot of work out front.
On
And
it,
you've been
yeah.
seeing it, like, it's, to
Yes,
the point where I'll
absolutely.
yell, slow down at cars and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like,
I do the same thing. I do the same thing down here in front of my house. I will also say this. Chief Menden is here, so he's taking note, and we'll work on that.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Sir?
Will there be a weight limit on Bryant Parkway for heavy trucks going down?
As there would be on any other road. I mean, it's not like
It'd be a shortcut for the transport.
that parkway is designed to allow those trucks to shortcut through there, so they don't drive right down Reynolds Road.
But you know what Reynolds Road is.
Yeah, and I also know that's a state highway, and we know how state highways are. Sometimes, believe it or not, state highways, I had this guy used to work for the highway department, a friend of mine, and he told me, which I was amazed, he said, parts of these roads we actually designed to fail. So they can see what happens. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but you never know. It's
Like a science project in action.
I guess, yeah, I guess. It's kind of crazy, but.
So who should we write at the highway department to tell them about the waiting list of 183 when you pull out from the post office?
Honestly, probably you better off, instead of hollering at the highway department, is to holler at your senator and your representatives. Complain to them, because then they can complain to the highway department, and they have a little more political pull that way. That's
Because I'm
probably
sure
the
it
best.
must be fun in fire trucks going over there.
I think I got good shocks. I thought fire was gonna be here today, but I guess they had some calls. I saw them come through here early this morning, so.
I know I've seen it on the Nextdoor website, but there is a lot of interest. Do you have any guess how long? I know a lot of it's out of your control. How long it might take to get a red light down at that intersection of?
I think we can get it done in the next few months, I think. You
Like
know.
maybe before school starts.
It'd be real tough to get it before school starts, because we have some utilities that'll have to be moved once we get all the approvals done. But, it'll be sometime shortly after school starts.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Very, very
absolutely. It's not a good intersection, because you have a little bit of rise before you get to it.
And then people trying to get down
people
out there.
going down Highway 5, speed like crazy, just like they do on Commonwealth. So yes, I totally get it, absolutely. I always be very intentional when I drive through there and slow down. Occasionally I've been known to, if the traffic is real bad, even let a couple of people out, to try to limit. Miss Betty, you had something else?
Yeah, I called about a traffic light, I called the state about a traffic light at Stony Brook and Highway 5.
Okay,
They pretty much laughed at me.
yeah. Yeah, the state highway department, RDOT, says that on state highways, you cannot have a light any closer close to another light, any closer than a half mile, which is, I understand from their reasoning point of view, it doesn't help us sometimes, but their point of view is more lights slows traffic down, and we can't get traffic through, and their job is just to move traffic. Yeah, it's unfortunate, because I come out of that way sometimes too, and when I do, I generally turn right instead of left, especially when I'm in the afternoon and I know traffic's bad.
More on
I go
Commonwealth.
out.
Yeah, or just I go up on Commonwealth and speed
More
up
on.
Commonwealth.
That's what I
Do you have a question,
I
sir?
do have one more question. Is there anything in the works for widening Lowry Lane?
Lowry Lane, where's that?
It's a little connector.
It's the cut through for
Oh, the
Walmart.
cut through, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't think there's anything in the books right now for that, but that's something we have talked about in the recent, about maybe looking at that in the near future.
It's now considered a city street, right?
I don't know if it's been turned over to the city or not, honestly. I'd have to look and see or check
You
it.
don't get a head check.
Is it a city street?
Yeah, there's places, I've taken the tape measure, it's 9 feet wide in some places. And you got people, the ones that are avoiding the police up here on Commonwealth that are cutting through.
So what you're saying is we need a police there and on Commonwealth at the same time?
Tickle me, and keep people from dumping, because
Yes.
everybody comes through. I don't understand why when these plastic cups didn't go on.
I understand. I have the same problem down here.
I mow up there in front of the storage buildings, just so it looks nice, so people aren't ashamed to drive in there
And I appreciate
and
that.
have stuff. I mean, It's
But
just
you know,
part of
that's the
that.
same thing down here. People think this is a dumping ground sometimes.
I guess because they gotta slow down for a curve.
Yeah. Or they come down here and do other nefarious things. So. Sir.
Yes, sir. I have a question. Lexington, I live over in Lexington Park, Phase 1 by Chauvin, I-30.
Right.
We've called before, a few of us residents, because when it does do the hurricane mode around here, and we get the understood with regular topography of the area, and if it's on your going towards your front door, you need to do something about it. But relatively, when a few of us have called and asked some questions, it's like, well, it's not. This is outside the city perimeter. It's close to your home. You know, you need to take care of it. It's on your property.
Yeah.
And I have been voluntold, recently elected to that area as their representative for Phase 1, and so I'm just responsibly bringing it up.
Sure.
Is there anything in the area, any kind of drainage project, any kind of issue that's going on in the area that might either help or is exacerbating that situation? Because we're having water like literally cut across the street where sometimes it's not safe to go out of our neighborhood, and we have two entrances.
Yeah.
So if we're not one, then everyone is forced to
You
go
talking about the
around.
entrances on Show Road? Is that where the entrances
Yes,
are?
sir.
Okay.
Both of them are on show. The lucky thing is the southern exit is actually kind of on a hill, so
Right.
water runs off. But the one closest to my house is actually closer to, I don't want to call it a creek or even a drainage. It's just a very low area that runs
Right.
on the back of the property. And water tends to filter out, but it was literally shooting out the drain, the water drain across the street.
Yeah.
It was flowing.
Several of these hurricane modes, it was doing that in several places.
Right. Is there anything in the area that's...
Are we doing any engineering study over there in that area, Mark? Can you remember?
No, not really. You know, we got the Timber Creek improvement that we're doing
Okay.
over there. There's a couple of residents that I've talked to over there, a lady, I can't remember her name right now, who lives on Show, and she has the same concern.
Well, if you drove right now on Meadow Creek,
Yeah.
there's actually someone digging with I don't know what the tool is, the ditch witch or whatever it is, out there with a bucket, having to dig up part of their backyard in the back just to try to open up flow, and that's on him. I mean, he's running it, he's doing it, he's trying to open it up because water. I saw it come all the way up to his driveway. I got video of it, dang near in my house. Like
Yeah.
I was like a quarter of an inch away.
I understand. I've been that way in houses before. It's not fun.
Yeah. So we focus on the homes that are flooded. That's our first
Right.
focus. We've got about 60 homes that have flooded, you know, in the last 3 years or so. And so we're focusing on projects around those homes. I forgot to mention that. We did the milling and overlay over there also.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Up here on,
Street is still over there.
on Justice Loop area.
Yeah. So we focus on those first. And the ones that we've got queued up, the projects that we got queued up, without even trying hard, it's over $15 million worth of work. And so, you know, we're getting funded to the tune of $250,000 or so a year through our stormwater revenue, so there's not money available to do all of those things. We'd love to do every.
Yeah, well, just from the discussion I
Yeah.
hear, y'all are on point.
Yeah.
I just need an answer
Yeah.
for my community as saying, hey,
Yeah.
we're at a good place, or there's hope, or
There is. I mean, basically, you got to work from the worst to the best.
right.
And unfortunately, since there's not really been any homes flooded in that area as a result of things like that, it's not the worst.
Is
It's
there a
not
way to
the
put in a
best.
request for like a study?
Sure, you can go in and report a
Do I
concern
put
and
do I put
yeah,
on the concern
fill
thing?
it out, report a concern and you know, and explain what's going on and ask
Okay.
if you can. And at least will be queued up so we know that there's a problem in that area as well.
Okay.
Because in all honesty, with the staff we have, and there's a rain event, and it's a major event, and there's flooding, we have to deal with those areas, and we might not see areas that aren't flooding as bad, and might not know it. That's why several times on Facebook in the recent storms, I've said, hey, if you have something happening in your area, let me know. Send me record it, video it, take pictures or whatever, and send me an email with it, because I take those emails and I forward those to the Public Works Department, as well as our engineer that's doing a lot of these studies in these areas, so he will have that real-time information. Because he's working on models, but if he can calibrate it with real information, as you, I'm sure, are aware, that makes things much better for him and the city, so we get a better product that way. Because, you know, models work, they don't always work 100%, but they work.
Right. It'd be unrealistic to think they would.
Absolutely.
But since I have the floor, there's a whole lot of trees that runs along the north side of our properties too. If they were leaning over anymore, they'd be in our chimneys. The property that's right behind that car dealership, right over, they're saying that's not ours. And I know it's none of our property owners, that's not ours.
Yeah.
So who would we get to? Because the next freeze we get, a lot of
I'm
us
not
are
sure
gonna
who
end
it
up
is.
with
We
traffic
could look on a
trees.
map and figure out who it is.
Who would I talk to do that?
He contact me,
Yeah,
Public Works, just contact Public Works, and we'll go over there and take a look at it and see
and figure out who the property, what the property is.
Appreciate it.
it's an easy.
Thank you.
Because there are ways to find out who owns the property, that's for sure. I mean, and it's not super hard on that one. Any other questions? Anything else?
No, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen. If there's not, then you're welcome to visit and do whatever. I got a lot of watermelon here still. We need to eat. Y'all need to eat some watermelon. You're welcome.
Oh, he said the,